Hey everyone, how's it going? Matthew Kadish here, author of the Earthman Jack Space Saga, available on Amazon.com. So if you want to support the channel and support me, go check it out if you get a chance. And today we've got some interesting TV news that kind of crosses the streams with some political stuff. So forgive me if I upset some people with some talking about politics with their entertainment news. But we're going to stick mostly to the entertainment side of things and just kind of let the political chips fall where they may. So, big news for Ryan Murphy fans and people who enjoy his unique brand of television. For those of you who don't know, Ryan Murphy is kind of the super producer behind such hits as the show Glee, about a high school glee club, the anthology series American Horror Story, which kind of repopularized the whole anthology genre. He's also the producer behind other kind of big TV shows such as American Crime Story and Feud and Pose. And these are all Netflix shows. I'm sorry, not Netflix, FX shows on the FX network. And if you've been following, the news about American Crime Story at all, you'll know that there's been a little bit of turmoil going on behind the scenes, in the sense that, so the first season of American Crime Story kind of hit the airwaves and was a huge hit. It was based off of the O.J. Simpson trial, and it covered, multiple different perspectives on it and the whole media circus surrounding it. It was a really excellent show. It was really, really good. And the second season of American Crime Story was originally set to be about Hurricane Katrina and its aftermath and all the chaos and depravity and crime that happened in New Orleans after Katrina kind of decimated the town. But for whatever reason, they couldn't really find a story they were happy with, so they switched it up, and they went with the assassination of Giovanni Versace, which followed the criminal Andrew Cunanan, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He was the one who killed Versace, and it kind of followed his crime spree leading up to that tragic event. And it was not quite as good as the first season. In fact, the acting was stellar. The show looked great, but the source material just was not nearly as compelling as something like the O.J. Simpson trial. So after the second season of American Crime Story kind of floundered a little bit, Ryan Murphy didn't know where to go with the show. He had a lot of different ideas, but he couldn't settle on one that he liked. And that's one of the reasons why it's taken so long to kind of announce a third season of the anthology show on FX. But in addition to that, there was also some issue where his development deal, which was with 20th Century Fox, kind of got shaken up in the Disney merger, and he ended up moving his deal over to Netflix. So that also contributed to kind of the delays in production as that transition was being made. But news just broke about the third season of the anthology crime show, and it is an interesting topic because it is going to be centered around the impeachment of former President Bill Clinton and the sex scandal that surrounded that with Monica Lewinsky. And the timing of this is really interesting because this season is going to be premiering right smack dab in the middle of the 2020 election season. And it's obviously not going to be painting Democrats in a very favorable light, because there's going to be a lot of exposure of lying and hypocrisy and stuff like that. And I'm sure they'll take swipes at Republicans too, just like they showed both sides in the O.J. Simpson trial. But they're definitely going to have stuff that is not very conducive to the party that wants to win back the White House in this show. And some people are worried that this could have an influence on the election. But we'll go into that in a little bit. So we're here at The Hollywood Reporter, and it says, Monica Lewinsky produced Impeachment, set as next American Crime Story at FX. Sarah Paulson, Beanie Feldstein, and Annalee Ashford will star in the anthology, with writer Sarah Burgess set to pen the script. Nearly a year and a half after season 2 of FX Emmy-winning American Crime Story ended, the future of the Ryan Murphy-produced anthology is coming back into focus. On Tuesday, FX used its time at the Television Critics Association's summer press tour to announce that Season 3 will focus on the saga of the Clinton presidency scandal, with Monica Lewinsky on board to produce. Yes, that's right. The woman most famous for giving the most powerful man on earth a BJ is now a bona fide Hollywood TV producer. Ryan Murphy says, "I told her nobody should tell your story but you, and it's kind of gross if they do," Murphy told The Hollywood Reporter in April of 2018. "If you want to produce it with me, I would love that, but you should be the producer and you should make all the gosh darn money." American Crime Story staples Murphy, Nina, blah, blah, blah. FX's American Crime Story franchise has become a cultural touchstone, providing greater context for stories that deserve greater understanding, like the O.J. Simpson trial and saga, and Andrew Cunanan's tragic crime spree, which concluded with the assassination of Giovanni Versace, FX CEO John Landergraff said Tuesday in a release announcing the new season. This franchise re-examines some of the most complicated, polarizing stories in recent history in a way that is relevant, nuanced, and entertaining. Impeachment, American Crime Story, will likewise explore the overlooked dimensions of the women who found themselves caught up in the scandal and political war that cast a long shadow over the Clinton presidency. In February, FX CEO John Landergraff told reporters that Murphy, who last year moved his overall deal from American Crime Story producers 20th Century Fox TV to Netflix, had 3 or 4 different ideas for another season of the franchise after potential seasons built around Hurricane Katrina and Lewinsky were abandoned. So basically, the Monica Lewinsky story about the impeachment of President Clinton was previously considered for the second season, but they eventually abandoned that along with the Hurricane Katrina ideal. But it appears that they have circled back around to the Lewinsky impeachment now that she has agreed to come on board as a producer and, I guess, give her insight into the story. Katrina was supposed to be the second season and was flipped with the assassination of Giovanni Versace when producers switched the source material on Katrina before ultimately ditching the concept entirely. And I'm kind of glad they did, because honestly, the stuff I was hearing about the Katrina story just didn't sound all that interesting to me. Katrina, American Crime Story, had previously cast several key roles with high-profile stars, including Dennis Quaid as former President George W. Bush, Annette Bening as former Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco, and Matthew Broderick as former Federal Emergency Management Agency Director Michael D. Brown. Wow, that's quite a cast. It's a shame that didn't come to fruition. "We have 3 or 4 ideas in active development, and we've acquired rights and done a fair amount of research and have writers working on them," Landgraf said earlier this year. "I couldn't tell you what will be ready first. The likelihood is all of them may be produced over time." So out of the 3 or 4 different ideas that Ryan Murphy's been bandying about, they went out, they got the rights to the source material that they're basing the show off of, and they're developing all of them concurrently, but it looks like Lewinsky is going to be the first one to hit. Meanwhile, the status of Feud 2 remains unclear after Murphy and FX abandoned plans to tell the story of Prince Charles and Diana, Princess of Wales, after scripts failed to stick to the landing and Michael Goode and Rosamund Pike had quietly been cast to star. I don't know what that means about scripts failing to stick to the landing. I guess it might just mean that they weren't very good. I know that the first season of Feud was a very interesting show. It wasn't quite as captivating as the first season of American Crime Story. And, it's been floundering for so long, the second season, that I don't see how they can maintain interest in it unless they find a really good central feud to base the second season around. But it's still in development over at FX, it sounds like. So that's pretty much the basic, fundamental concept for the next season of American Crime Story. And it's based off of a book by journalist Jeffrey Toobin called A Vast Conspiracy, The Real Story of the Sex Scandal That Nearly Brought Down a President. And basically, Ryan Murphy optioned that book in January of 2017. And he had, every intention to develop it into a TV show, but then he kind of started wondering about the impact it would have on Monica Lewinsky and backed off of it until he was able to get her to come on board and basically give her blessing on it. And ironically enough, this actress Beanie Feldstein, which you can see right here. She's going to be playing Monica Lewinsky. I tend to think Monica Lewinsky doesn't look anything like her, but she's kind of an up-and-coming young actress. She was in Booksmart, which was, an independent comedy that didn't really do too well, but got a lot of kind of critical acclaim. I recognize her from the show What We Do in the Shadows. That show is amazing. It's another FX comedy series based off of the mockumentary by Taika Waititi, who's directing the new Thor movies. And it's a fantastic show, and she's very funny in it. So she definitely has some comedy chops. She kind of reminds me of a Rebel Wilson, except, not Australian. So she's going to be joining the cast and playing Monica Lewinsky. It'll be interesting to see who they cast as Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and the effect that this would have on the 2020 elections as they kind of put this back into the consciousness of Americans around the time where they're going to be casting their votes and deciding who they're going to be supporting for the elections. But I'm excited for this new series because it sounds like it's going to have all the things that made the first season with OJ so, incredibly captivating, which is the big cast of characters, the media circus, the scandal and all this stuff that just makes for a really juicy story. So I'm definitely going to be watching this. What about you guys? Do you think season 3 of American Crime Story is going to be any good? What do you think about the decision to focus on such a political topic in an election year? I want to hear your thoughts. Please share your comments in the section below. And as always, for more TV, movie, and entertainment news, please subscribe to my channel. This is Matthew Kadish, and I will catch you guys in the next video.